Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to Will's Mediumship and Numerology channel. If you're new to my channel, I certainly appreciate both your viewership as well as your subscriptions. Okay, so what I like to do is to give recognition to yet another prominent female. And today I'd like to see if I could channel Isabella Baumfree, known to us today as Sojourner Truth. Okay. And this name was given, or Isabella changed her name to Sojourner Truth when she was convinced, ladies and gentlemen, God called her to leave the city and to go into the countryside, to testify hope, to be a crusader who shares, ladies and gentlemen, reality with people. So, with that said, ladies and gentlemen, what I've decided to do is to select a card out of my African American tarot deck here in order to channel Mrs. Truth through. And the card that comes to mind is the Empress because she was quite nurturing. Okay, so let's go on and just find that card real quickly here. And then we're gonna go on and see if we can channel her through and ask her a few questions. And I have it here. Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, if you like this reading, be sure to give it a big thumbs up. Share it with others to whom you think might benefit, and be sure to press that subscription button so that you receive all future readings. Okay. So, I'm going to go on and start off by just saying a quick prayer here to just get me a bit more focus here so that I can ask the questions that I've jotted down that I like to ask Miss Truth, Mrs. Truth, as she um, comes through. Okay. So, dear guides, dear, dear ancestors, dear deceased relatives, may the grace of understanding and awareness open up my mind and my heart to receive soul insights and enlightened knowledge. I ask that only the highest of intentions and energies be present in this experience. Please help me release my ego fears so that I can clearly see, clearly feel, clearly hear, and understand the messages that Mrs. Truth liked to convey. Okay? So, with that said, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to go on and just um, channel her in a bit more here and just to, I'm going to ask her a few questions, but I'm just going to share with you a few things about her for those of you who perhaps aren't as aware of who she is, of the person that she was. Well, first of all, she was a 19th century American abolitionist, okay? And she was an individual, ladies and gentlemen, who demanded not less discrimination, but no discrimination at all, okay? Her heritage is of New York Dutch. She was certainly born in slavery and she escaped successively with her infant daughter, okay? And after going to court, ladies and gentlemen, to try to retrieve her son, Mrs. Truth became the first black woman to win a case against a white man. And for those of you who, one of the things that she's most famous for is her speech, Ain't I a Woman? Okay? And in this speech, ladies and gentlemen, she certainly did this speech very, very proudly here. Okay? And she did it extemporaneously. Okay? She demanded equal rights for women. And as well, ladies and gentlemen, she also became the first African American woman to have a statue in the Capitol building. Okay? So let's go on and just to ask her a few questions. I just wanted to just give you guys a quick backdrop of her history here. And so let's go on and just get into more specifics into learning more about Miss True. So Mrs. True, please tell me a bit more about yourself. You know, the real you. Okay? She's given me a strong impression, ladies and gentlemen, that she certainly was a businesswoman. She was a self starter and she took concerted risks. She was very ambitious. I'm getting a motivator. She's telling me that she was certainly someone who had excellent leadership abilities. I'm feeling her as being very parental, charming, and someone very passionate, warm hearted. And at times, she was often egotistical. She was someone people always turned to for advice. Someone who made things happen, ladies and gentlemen. Someone who kept her ground. And someone who knew intuitively that we would, in fact, overcome someday. Okay, this is what I'm kind of getting here. So, Mrs. Truth, how did you die? Give me the circumstances surrounding your death here. Okay. She's telling me that she really wanted to improve living conditions for herself, not only herself, but for also for others, particularly those who were disenfranchised, ladies and gentlemen. But she became very weary, I'm getting, throughout the entire ordeal. I'm seeing problems perhaps with inflammation and or some type of a health battle um, that she kind of had problems. A lot of she suffered a lot. Okay, and she felt a bit defeated or discouraged. I'm getting that impression that I'm seeing here. Okay, Mrs. Truth, how do you make your presence known when you do um, return from the spirit realm? She says she certainly comes periodically, and particularly, she says, through dreams to her living descendants. Okay? She says she often acts also to others as a muse when they are trying to do something very artistic or something that's very creative because she saw herself as being that way while living. I'm kind of feeling, okay? So, Mrs. Truth, next question. Other than the fact that I summoned you here, why do you mentioned that you come back and forth periodically here? Why are you here? Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, she's saying that since she embraced religion more after having gone through a difficult time, she wants us all to keep things in balance, to reject being prejudiced at all costs, to compromise, to have fruitful, intermingled connections, she's saying, to also forgive those who hurt us, and to not do anything, and she says anything in excess. Okay? She wants us all to be sensible and take one day at a time. Okay? So, can I help you move on, Mrs. True? She says, yes, ladies and gentlemen, but it's certainly not necessary because giving me the impression that she's currently working with others to learn how to to others in terms of other spiritual beings and with her own spiritual helpers to better communicate with those on earth because she seems like she wants to be like a messenger or a spiritual type God or something to her descendants or to pretty much anyone who needs that help. And she's saying that she will certainly return to check on everyone from time to time. She's stressing that. Okay. So, Mrs. Truth, is there anything else that you'd like to share? Because what I'm going to do, what I like you to do, I'm going to summon you once more and I have a few other questions that I like to ask you, questions that I think pretty much the world at large would like to know. And so I'm gonna have you come back again for part B. Would that be okay? Okay. She says she's willing to do that. So let's go on and just ask this question here. So is there anything else that you'd like to share? Okay, I think that's a good message here. She says, please never be afraid to take risks in life. Be daring, creative, and optimistic in your approach. Hold your own. And she says certainly strength comes through adversity and be determined to have what it is that you want here because you deserve it. All right. So with that said, that concludes this session. But before leaving, um, or closing out this session with you, Mrs. Truth, I'm just gonna go on and just shuffle up my deck here of postcards, and I'd like you to guide me to a card to send one final message out to the world or something that you like people to really know here. So I ask that you guide my hand to the correct card that needs to be heard here. Okay? Here we go, ladies and gentlemen. Let's see what card she wants me to select here. We have, okay, I'm going to go on and select this card. Let's see what it says. And this is her message to the world. Dearest you, as you think, so will you experience life. Thoughts are that powerful and they need minding. Let the unruly, chaotic ones settle down so that they serve you or get release instead of wreaking havoc. These thoughts arise when connected to the energy of fear and often masquerade as truth. Yet the real truth is that essentially all is well. Of course, you have thoughts that are positive, that are strong, that are organized, accepting, creative, open, and so on and so on. Those are the ones I want you to keep thinking. And they have a less frantic quality. They're stimulating in a good way and don't get away from you. How do you keep an inner eye on your thoughts? Meditate and leave judgment out of the mix. Everyone has those fearful thoughts. Love them. Love yourself and then choose the thoughts you want the world to reflect back. Life is certainly not as hard as you think. Loving you so, so much. So, this is her final message to the world, and it's quite compelling. Wouldn't you agree? It's all about taking risks, as she said throughout her reading or her message to me. But you have to let go of fear and control how you're thinking about certain things. All right. So, again, if you like this reading, please give it a big thumbs up, share it with others to whom you think might benefit, and be sure to press that subscription button. If you'd like to schedule a more personalized reading, you can do so by accessing my website and scheduling your reading there, or you can send an email. Do have a blessed day, and I look forward to hearing your comments. Thanks a lot for viewing.